Hello everyone, and welcome to The Walking Dead Season 6 tier list. As usual, characters, stuff, and actions for this season only. Comments are off to avoid spoilers. What else is there? I don't think there's anything else. Okay. So this time around, done something a little different. So I decided to actually take some notes and note down things that I found were important, that I liked and disliked about each character. My brain shut off. God damn it. So I took down notes about everything I liked about each character, disliked, actions, stuff to discuss during these tier lists. So I'm not stuck here for half an hour saying yeah, and I don't want to do that. And I'm probably gonna do that anyways because I'm retarded. But yeah, so we're going to do this, and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna go through these characters, and I'm gonna have quite the fun time with some of them. So we're gonna start off with Aaron. Let me pull up my little notepad file and see what there is to say about him. Some of these characters have a lot to write that I've written about. Some of these characters have nothing. So we'll go with Aaron first. Where the hell is he on my thing here? Let me look for him. I could just there he is. So I only have one thing written down about him, and that he's more than happy to risk his life for a search and rescue. And this is when Glenn was missing for a short time, and Maggie was really worried that he is out there alone and he's hurt and he's not going to come back. But she was, yeah, more than happy to. He was more than happy to help her out there and search for Glenn before they gave up because Maggie just didn't want to risk it. Um, that was nice, and he also came along on the RV trip to try and get Maggie to Hilltop, which was cool. So, once again, I like Aaron. He's a nice guy. He's a humble guy, but there isn't a whole lot to say. Abraham now, ooh boy. So, I'm gonna say right now, spoilers. I have watched the first episode of season 7. Abraham gets his brains bashed in. Oh boy. And that means I do know who else dies in that episode. So, and I will say I'm going to have to dip a toe into season 7, just the first episode, when I talk about some specific characters. So, yeah. So, Abraham, what I got written down for him, I have a good old. Where the hell is he? There he is. So, okay, yeah, this is a given. Abraham being funny, right? That's great. You can't say that you don't like Abraham, at least for the humor, because he just says the weirdest things, and I love it. And he's just like bull testicles and mother shit and other things. I can't remember him. Oh yeah, that's one. That's one I gotta say. We are neck deep in shit creek with our mouths wide open. That's a good one. Um, yeah. But there's more to him than just that. So, one thing I have written for him is, of course, how he changes just the littlest bit throughout the season. At the beginning, he's talking with Sasha about how he has no control over himself. Or he says he has the control over himself, but he clearly doesn't, and he gets himself in a bit of a pickle sometimes. And he needs to control himself. The way he jumps out the car and starts distracting the walkers in the beginning of the season, like the first episode, stuff like that. Like he's trying to do his own thing and he's trying to be cool and he's trying to help out. But yeah, he doesn't have that. That's not if he shouldn't have done that. He doesn't really have control over himself like he says. Another thing was being blinded by the big shiny rocket launcher, which I was very happy to see that thing used. I was really excited when I was like, I hope Abraham gets that and I hope someone uses it because that would be great. Um, but yeah, so uh, he decides to throw caution to the wind, and he decides to go after this rocket launcher that's on a dead soldier, and it's hanging off, and it's a walker too, so there's an extra bit of danger to it. But this thing's like hanging off the side of a bridge on a fence post, and he's over there, and he's climbing up on it. He's getting in the walker's face, and he's struggling. It's just like you need some self control, man. You need to wait. Maybe you can get Sasha to help you out and grab that thing. And eventually he does decide, I'm going to scream in its face, but I'm going to control myself. And he backs off. and he lets the walker fall, and he gets the rocket launcher, and that is nice. And his acceptance of Eugene after quite I think I'm gonna cover Eugene next because he also changes a lot this season, and they kind of anytime like you see Eugene, he's usually with Abraham, and they're having a chat. And that he kind of Abraham finally came to accept Eugene can hold his own, and Eugene's a man now, and he doesn't need Abraham like he said, and I like that. So that's cool that he finally came around and is like, yeah, maybe you're right, and you're brave enough to risk your life for Maggie to distract the saviors. So yeah, I think that's a pretty. I think that's pretty cool of Abraham to come around and finally accept that. So I'm gonna say I still love Abraham. He's cool. You'll cover Eugene next because I have a lot written about him. uh, so Eugene manned up. He finally used, he's doing his thing. He's using his brain. He's using his knowledge, that noggin he has. And he's not very well in combat, but he has the brains to do things like pick locks, finding workshops. He's willing to produce ammo for everybody. And he's finally, stepping out of his comfort zone, trying to kill walkers. But I feel like, Jesus, my throat. I feel like he was a little bit in over his head, though, saying he doesn't need Abraham's help anymore. Because right after he said that, or right before he said that, he was nearly killed by a walker because he couldn't fight it. He was struggling to fight the thing. So, I'm not sure, but he eventually just kind of. What? I'm sorry. I just took a quick glance at the notepad and I wrote Eugene Blue Abraham. What? Oh yeah, I know what that is. Okay. Christ. I'm like, what the hell kind of gay fan fiction we got going on here? Yeah, Eugene, I feel like at the time, at the moment, I felt like he was not ready to part ways with Abraham. Like he needed Abraham. But by the end of it, he decided, I gotta risk my life. I gotta man up. I gotta do it for everybody. And Abraham's like, thanks, brother. You can hold your own. So that's a nice change over the thing there. I don't remember exactly which episode it was. Maybe 14, I think. Where Abraham was captured. So was a bunch of other people. So it'd be like Daryl and what's his name? Abraham wasn't captured. It was Eugene, Daryl, and Rosita. They were all captured. Abraham was sitting over in the sidelines, like behind some barrels, taking cover, and Eugene called him out. He's like, "Hey, if you're gonna kill anyone, kill that asshole over there," because he was a little pissy that Abraham walked out on him and just said, "Screw you." So at the moment, I was like, "Dude, why'd you do that, Eugene? You dumbass! Why'd you blow his cover like that?" But he used that, in a way, it was a distraction to save everyone in the moment. He went in, chewed on Dwight's dong, which was funny. Um, and I think, again, smart thinking by Eugene. He's using his brain. So, yeah, it's good stuff from Eugene. He wouldn't obviously he's by the end of it he's actually killing walkers, and he feels like he's got the power for that. And I like that though. He's definitely changed the most of any of those three characters that you were introduced to. And yeah. So the most important one is Eugene seeing Abraham walk out on Rosita. And then he asks Rosita, "You ever try these cookies? Damn, they're good." I love that. That made me laugh. So again, there's a little bit of humor there. He talks about he correlates like his ability to like tabletop RPGs, which is funny. So again, I love Eugene. He's still cool. And there's a little bit of doubt when he called out Abraham, like, "Dude, you're gonna get him killed." And nah, he actually ended up using that as a distraction. So good thinking by him. Next up is who the hell is that? Somehow I don't recognize some of these characters, and I think that's because a lot of them are kind of just no-name characters that you see in Alexandria. So I think we'll skip around a bit and see what else we can find, such as this guy. I think his name was J or T or something. I think its name was T. He's a dick. He's part of the Saviors, and he set up a roadblock blocking Daryl, Rosita, and Abraham, and was it Eugene? It was Eugene. I think Eugene was there too. Yeah. Um, and he's like, "Hey, give me your stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that." So they send Daryl, out behind the truck that they're trying not to lose, and with some dude. So and here they are, and he's like, "Give me your guns." So he gets their guns, and he's aiming at them. He's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna be nice. My guys, they won't kill you. But then I'm gonna kill you." So he aims the guns at them, and then Daryl, out of nowhere, blasts their ass with a rocket launcher. That was great. And this guy died. So just because he's part of the Saviors, he goes in hate, because now I know how bad these people are. And he just, was kind of toying with him. He's like, "I'm going to let you live." But I'm not. And then he exploded, so that was funny. Uh, some more characters I don't necessarily recognize. Carl. Okay, Carl's actually kind of got a lot I've written down for him this season. Alright, so I'm going to lumber Ron and Carl into this because they actually kind of have a little bit of beef throughout this season. I'm going to talk about them both. So Ron is being bitchy about Enid, because she runs off, and Carl wants to be the hero. He wants to go find her, make sure she's safe. And I'm like, yeah, good job thinking, Carl. I like that. I respect that. But Ron did have a point. You're going to go out there. People are going to wonder where you went because you went missing. And then people are going to go out there and search, and then people are going to die. And I completely agree with Ron. It's just not worth the risk, Carl. Especially you. You can't... Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like the thinking from Carl, and I like that he wants to be a hero, and he wants to help. But, Ron's also right. You just can't risk that. Because Carl could die, because he's Carl. He's kind of dumb sometimes. And other people could also die trying to find him. What else we have? Ron and Enid are whiny bitches. I'm not really sure what that is, but they are whiny bitches, yeah. Ron snitched. Yes, he did. He snitched, and he said, if you go out there, I'm going to tell your dad. And then Carl doesn't actually go out there, but Ron still tells Rick, hey, your son might go out there. And it's like, come on, man, you're an asshole. They finally have a little fight, and they have a fight in the garage, and while everyone's being chased by walkers. And they're beating the crap out of each other, and I thought it was pretty cool. I like that. But afterwards, after the fight, and by the way, Ron tried to kill and shoot Carl, so we're gonna get that. That's gonna be important later. And he's just being an asshole, really. But Carl was nice. After they got out of there, out of that garage, and stopped fighting, he covered it up, saying they're just trying to prevent the walkers from getting in. They weren't beating the crap out of each other. So Carl's really nice, despite the fact that Ron tried to put a bullet in his head. He's still willing to cover up Ron's, actions and say, we're just struggling in there against the walkers. And then there's two more important parts here. I'm gonna get to the biggest one at the end. This one's specifically for Carl. After Deanna turns and dies, Carl goes out of his way to bring Deanna to Spencer, so that Spencer can put her down. That's his mom. So I think it'd be the most fitting person to kill Deanna would be Spencer, and I think that's really nice of Carl. And that he said he'd do the same for Michonne. I don't necessarily remember the context of that. Like, I don't remember the conversation too well, but whatever it is, I'm sure it was like, I'd put you out of your misery or something like that, in case I have to. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, I'm happy that Carl is nice in this season, and I like him. And then, the bastard moment is, if you look at Carl there, he kind of has an eye patch on. Ron goes in hate for the sole reason that he did get his chance to kill Carl, and he tried to take it. I think he initially pointed the gun at Rick, and then he fired it after being attacked by Michonne, and he shot Carl right in the eye. That bastard. And Carl loses his eye. So just because you pretty much tried to kill Rick and Carl, and you did successfully injure Carl, and you did some permanent damage, man, you're an asshole. And in the whole season, he's kind of just a mess. I'll get Eden out of the way, too, because she has a couple things written in here. Yeah, so the entire last season, I call her Eden I didn't remember her name and perfectly, so I called her Eden. It's Enid, you dumbass. Um, and the only thing I ever written down here is working to help Maggie, and I'm not necessarily sure what that means. I think it was working. Yeah, that's what it was. With Glenn. Um, Enid and Glenn were doing. They came back during when the walkers were all over the place in Alexandria, and Maggie was stuck on a watchtower, and there were walkers all over the place, and they were starting to break the thing. But Enid was she went out of the way, put herself in danger to help out Maggie, which was pretty nice of her. And then Glenn got his ass surrounded, and then Abraham and someone else, I don't remember. I think it was the other guys. They saved. No, it was Abraham and Sasha came back and saved Glenn's ass, which was pretty cool. Um, so yeah, overall I still don't like her. She's kind of just a whiny bitch the entire season. But she did do a nice thing, so that's why she's not hate. I feel like this is still an all over the place recording, like a tier list. Just not as bad because I have stuff written down, so I'm not stuck here saying oh right. So let me see who else we have. Um, let's see who do we have written down. Let's go with Spencer because he's the first person I saw in the thing. So Spencer, I don't know if I really like him all that much. Particular things. Now, like at first he comes off as nice, but then like the next scene he loses all the respect from me, and it's particularly when everyone in Alexandria is just like we're gonna die, and that's it. And it's just like Rick is gonna get us killed, and he goes in there into the food lounge or the food pantry, and he's telling people, hey, you gotta not be selfish. If you're gonna survive, you need to be kind of one another. You gotta share. You gotta ration things out, and you got to trust Rick, And I'm just like, he's got a nice leadership role here. He's telling everyone, hey, if you're selfish, you're gonna get yourself killed faster, and there's gonna be no chance of survival. But if you're nice to one another, and you betray everything equally in a hard time, you'll come out okay. And then he does the exact opposite. Goes in and takes everything for himself, or a lot of stuff for himself, and then takes some booze too. And he just starts drinking away the pain. I'm just like, you lost all your respect. And he starts talking crap about Deanna, and he's just laying into her and laying into Rick, and it's just like, man, what the hell? You were just being nice. I liked you there. You just threw it away. And I'm very indecisive over him. That's a good one there that I've written him. I'm not really sure if I like him or not, so I'm gonna say neutral. And also, you wanted to get out and get in a car and go out on a run, and then he only got himself killed, hanging off like a wire or something that Tara had to go out of her way to risk her life for him. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's some good in there. There is some good in Spencer, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I would assume I don't know. He's shown up a handful of times. I think he'll be important for season 7. I'll see what he has to say and what he does there. So, um, next up is Eastman. All right. So from what I know, people aren't a fan of that episode, but I liked it. So Eastman. All right. I'm gonna stick him in neutral for now so I can explain the episode with Morgan and Eastman, and it kind of explains Morgan's backstory and how he decided to come into. Oh, Morgan's gonna be a fun one to talk about. How he decided to be a neutral guy. So, a pacifist, I should say. Eastman, I liked him a lot. I did, and I really liked the episode he was in. He's a nice dude. I like his general attitude. Pretty much looking for the good and trying to prevent violence and just, care for the one and only guy that showed up in his time there at his cabin. The fact that he didn't put a bullet in Morgan's brain and only locked him in a cell and still provided him food, still chatted with him, still talked about, helping him, shows that, Eastman is a kind-hearted guy, and I don't think he would resort to violence. He wouldn't, if he had to use a gun or something, I feel like he wouldn't be able to do that. Kind of like Morgan for the most part. So, another thing I liked, just a little detail he had. He usually take walkers' wallets out. Take their wallet, read up who they are, write a grave marker for them, and bury them. I liked that. I think that was really cool, and Morgan did the same for him when he died. So that was really nice. I think it's pretty cool, and they should do that more often if they have such as burning the corpses or whatever they do with them. Um, Turning Morgan's spear into a fighting stick. That was a really cool thing. He cut the end off of Morgan's spear, and he's like, "Hey, man, you don't need that no more. I'm gonna teach you the ways of Aikido, and you're gonna learn. You're gonna master it." And he really did master it. I'll say Morgan is really skilled with that stick, and I like that. You know, he's just like, you come into my house, you try to kill me. I'm gonna force you to learn and to be nicer, and I think that's pretty cool. A couple other things I remember. His story about I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that killed his family and then he killed himself. Um, I love that. How I think this was season 7, so I'm gonna dive into season 7 just a second from Morgan. Um, but how he only killed one person. So he's only killed one person in his life, and it is, and since he's taken up this life of pacifism for the most part, Eastman had only killed the one and only person in his life that he thought was truly evil, the person that killed his family. And Morgan also had done the same when he had to save Carol. He killed the person that he thought was truly evil. I liked that kind of passed on from Eastman. It was really cool. Uh, and of course, Tabitha is the best character of the season because it's a goat, and goats are pretty cool. So, yeah. Eastman, I love him. He's a pretty cool guy. I liked him a lot. So, it's a nice side character for the story that he was given. Let's see here. Jesse and Sam. Oops, scroll down. Jesse and Sam. They, oh boy. I liked Jesse had a bit of a monologue where she was going on about, fight or die, and this is the world we live in now. And as some season 6 had a lot of the kind of go on monologues, but oh well. And the way she pretty much took that Spencer leadership role that I thought he had, and she actually did something with it. And she's like, everyone, this is the world we live in. You gotta get your hands dirty, but you gotta, you still gotta respect life. You still gotta respect each other. And you gotta have each other's backs so you can, stop being scared and all this stuff. And I like that, it's just pretty cool stuff. Sam nearly redeemed himself. Nearly redeemed himself. Now, if you remember last season, I hated him because he was just a little shit. And I think I put him in his own tier of annoying. He nearly redeems himself. He fights through his fears. He's like, okay, you know what, Mom? You got all these people around here. You got Daddy Rick. I'm gonna be a man about it. They're not gonna get me. I'll be safe. And then he goes off, and then Carol pretty much infused in his brain that he's gonna die. So here he is, walking calmly through the field of walkers with everyone else, and for a second, I'm like, this kid actually is doing it. He's actually fighting his fear. I am very proud of this guy. And then Carol's stuff gets into his head, and he loses it. And he breaks down, and then he gets Ron killed, he gets Jesse killed, and he gets himself killed. He gets his whole family killed because he's a baby, and he just couldn't toughen it all. And that, my friend, lands you in hate. Jesse, I guess I'll put her in neutral. So, yeah, let's see here. We got, that picture of Maggie's from season 7. I don't know, it's just a note. Jesus. Alright, let's go to the Hilltop people. Just the 2 Hilltop people I actually recognize. So, that would be, Gregory. That's his name, right? Gregory and Jesus. Alright, Jesus. I like Jesus. He's kind of funny, the way he shows up. It's episode 10 in particular, where Daryl and Rick are just being dumbasses, and they're trying to get this food truck, and then they're fighting Jesus over it, and it was dumb. And his name is Jesus. That's his nickname. So anytime they mention Jesus, like, I laugh a little. So eventually that food truck ends in a river, which is funny, but suddenly, after they take Jesus back to Alexandria, did they take him back to Alexandria? I'm not entirely sure. I think they did. Afterwards, they tie him up. I would assume they kept him locked up. I don't remember if he was brought back or he followed them back, but regardless, he ended up in Alexandria, and he friggin' wakes up Rick and Michonne in their house, and he's like, we got something to talk about. He brings them to Hilltop, and he lets them keep their guns, which is very important, and I think that shows that they mean no harm. because almost every time they show up at like a place, they're like, "We're taking your guns." And I mean, I can understand that. You don't want to risk somebody showing up, with weapons and just blowing your place up, right? But they were like, we trust you enough that you think you should keep your guns, and we need you to help us out. And I like that. Shows that they are really not really, they're willing. They're in desperate need of help, and they're willing to trust random people. So one of these guys kills one of his brothers or something. And Rick is like trying to beat the crap out of him or something. I don't remember, but he gets in the middle of it and he's like, "Yo, stop fighting! Don't shoot! Come on!" He just breaks up the violence. That's what I'll say, and I like that. And he's got a funny name, so he seems like a pretty good guy with good intentions. I like him. Gregory, on the other hand, I don't know if I like him. The leader of Hilltop. He seems like he just doesn't wanna. Doesn't want to give, but he wants to take. And to be fair, he is kind of in a situation where, he's kind of in a poopy situation. Yeah, he came off as a dick. The way he talked to Maggie, the way he's just like, yeah, screw you, not taking your deal, bye. That kind of thing. I didn't like that. I thought that was a pretty annoying guy. I don't want to say I found him like a dick. He's in the situation with the Saviors where he's giving out half his thing. So I can understand why he'd want back and not want to give, but come on, man, you got to trade, You can't just take all and not give back. That's a governor kind of situation where he's just killing everybody and taking their things, but he's not giving back to anyone else besides his community. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like Gregory. He's kind of weird, and then he got stabbed. Next up is Michonne. Okay, Michonne didn't do a whole lot this season. Not that I remember. I still like love her a lot, so I'll put it up there. There's one thing though. Heath. She told Heath when Heath was like, we all these guys. Oh, and I'm starting to remember. It's like like the beginning of the season. Some of these characters, like this guy too. Where's Burgess's or whatever the hell his name is? Sturgis. Where's Sturgis at? There you go. I'm gonna put all these guys in. Actually, I'm gonna put Sturgis in dislike because his dumbass run off and got himself killed. And these other two were on this like group run with Heath and Michonne. When these guys got bit or whatever, and they're like, leave us behind, and then Heath is like, yeah, we got to do that or something, right? I don't remember entirely, but then Michonne went off on this guy, and he's saying like, you haven't suffered like I have. You haven't seen the people get killed. You haven't seen your friends and family destroyed in front of you. You haven't seen every home that you've loved being blown up to smithereens. I liked that. She kind of put it in Heath's head like, you have been stuck behind these walls the whole time. You haven't suffered like I have. You haven't been out on the road like I have. I think that was pretty cool. Kind of put in Heath's mind, hey man, things aren't as it seems. So I'm going to say Heath. I like him. I don't know. He hasn't done a whole lot, but this is more of a Glenn thing. And we'll talk about Glenn in a minute. So scrap that. Scrap everything I was just talking about. Just to let you know, like Heath, he's a pacifist guy. He doesn't seem like he wants to kill, so I like that. There's really nothing to say about him. I don't remember. He just kicks some booty every once in a while. Let's thin the herd on some of these minor characters, like this guy. I hate him. He's just the entire time he's shit talking Rick, and he's like, "Your stupid plan is gonna get us killed. I don't like you." And then he gets chewed up because he doesn't follow Rick's plan. So, yeah. I don't recognize some of these people. Like, I don't know who the hell these people are. I don't know. We'll skim through. Eric, neutral again. I mean, the guy hasn't done anything. He shows up like once a season and does stuff. How long have we been going for? 30 minutes. Jesus Christ, and we've barely gotten through this list. Well, at least I'm gonna cut things down. So, who else do we have? That's Rick. Doesn't look like Rick. He looks really weird in that picture. This wolf guy. I'll say I dislike him because he's kind of weird, and he did like take Denise by gunpoint, and that's someone we'll cover in just a second. Actually, took Denise by gunpoint. But you know what? That's the thing. All right. So he was taken captured. He was with the wolves, and they attacked Alexandria. And he was captured by Morgan and not killed. He was stuck, tied up. Morgan said, everyone can change, and that's why I haven't killed him. And I'm like, okay, first of all, Morgan, no, people don't always change. I just want to point that out first. But anyways, this guy he did though. That's the thing. So he was captured by Morgan. Eventually got free, because he was bit. I think no, he wasn't bit. He was just injured, I think, in general, and he needs Denise to help him out because she's a doctor. So he goes and takes Denise by gunpoint and forces her to rush out into the horde of zombies and all that. Um, and they try to make a run towards a guard post for safety. Goes wrong though. Denise gets surrounded. Now this guy said for like the entire damn season, all he said is, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you." And even in I think it was the end of season 5, he's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna free you. I'm gonna make you a happy person. I'm gonna kill you." All he would say. Um, and when he came face to face with Morgan originally, and it's the same case. Um, but he changes for just a second. He does something else. He goes out of his way to save Denise as she's surrounded. He starts shooting walkers around her because he needs her, and he sees that she's a good person. So I like that. He, for the smallest amount of time, he just changed. Um, then he gets shot by Carol, so it really doesn't last long. Uh, Next up is this woman. She's smoking, and then she gets killed. I don't know, neutral. Uh, Olivia, again, character that really doesn't do a whole lot. Neutral. Um, I'm just gonna, get rid of the characters. Alright, Sasha. Now, I always put Sasha in hate. I always do that. Thing is, though, this season, she didn't do a whole lot. Like, she barely did anything. The only thing I have written for her is she's not a complete maniac anymore. But she's still just weird to me, and I still don't like her. She has done literally nothing this season to redeem herself for me. So, I'm still in hate. I don't like her. I think this is the woman that was smoking and gets killed, and this is just some other chick in Alexandria. They have like 3 lines, and then he died. You got Tobin. All right, so originally when Rick showed up, he wasn't too happy with him. He didn't like him. But this season, no, he's changed, and I like that. So he gets along with Rick, finally realizing what's going on out there and the suffering they will endure if he doesn't help out Rick and he doesn't agree with him. He realizes that Rick is the one they need, the leader. And he's nice enough to help him out and secure the walls, build them up and fortify them. I like that. I like that part of Tobin. He was very much against him in season 5, but he opened his eyes and is like, Rick, he knows what he's doing. As if other things didn't intervene, something like the wolves crashing a freaking truck into the in Alexandria's walls, this plan would have worked, and I think Tobin realized, Rick does know what he's doing. He's been out there. He knows. So he's like, yeah, I trust you, Rick, and I'm going to help you out. And he also did some nice stuff. He's just like, hey, Carol, you're a special person in the community because you're like the only chick that can, like, kick ass, and everyone looks up to you, and you're a cool badass to them, and that was nice, and he went a smooch. So I'd say, Tobin, I like him so far this season. He didn't die or anything. He's still alive, but, and oh yeah, he also told everyone that Carol went missing, so he made sure that she would be found. So yeah, I like Tobin. He's changed a bit. Gabriel, I'm sure there isn't a whole lot written for him. Yeah, during episode 9, when everything went tits up, and also at the end of the final episode, not the end of the final episode, but in the final episode, Gabriel was like, hey, you know what? In fact, there's more to Gabriel than just that, but I love Gabriel, and the reason is, well, he's pretty much like he cares for Judith, and every time like Rick goes out, he's like, Judith, or there's like an incident in Alexandria, he's like, Judith is my first priority. I will keep your child safe, Rick, and I like that. He also kind of gets along with Rick. They're kind of buds. He's pretty cool. He jokes around and chats with Rick every once in a while on the road. I like that. But I think the shining moment is Gabriel finally kind of put his guilt behind him. At the end of the last season, he was, he wanted to die all the time. He's just like, he couldn't live with the pain and all the people that, he accidentally killed. But this season, he seems he's gotten past that, and he's manned up. And while on the trip to that satellite area, satellite building, to try and take out the Saviors, well, he did something that I didn't expect of him. He killed a person. And he said some kind of cool prayer or something before that. And then he's like, amen. And then he shot the guy. I'm just like, yeah, good work, Gabriel. You've changed a lot. Where he was too scared to even kill a walker. Now he's killing people. So, yeah, really cool stuff from Gabriel. Nicholas. You know what? I'm going to get Nicholas and Glenn here. Cause oh, my God. Um, Nicholas is... All right. So, the end of the last season, I hated him. So, in the tier list, I put him in hate because he's just an asshole. He is a spineless guy. He got Noah killed, and he tried to kill Glenn, but Glenn saved his ass. So he kind of starts to get along with Glenn. He's kind of nice. He knows his role this time around, and he follows Glenn's orders. He listens to him, and when he needs to take his role as a leader, but it doesn't work out. So they go to that building, right, that they got to find, and it's burned down. So they head down an alleyway every night. The whole episode, Nicholas has been having just like moments where he just snaps out of reality and just kind of stares. And it's just like he's too soft. He really is. He keeps losing his friggin' marbles at the worst times. And that's exactly what happens. The episode title, Thank You, is the words that I will always remember for the Walking Dead. Because he, in the worst situation where Glenn is about to die, and he is too, Glenn has to shake him out of his little out of reality moment, and he's just like, Nicholas, hey, dude, get out of it, snap out of it, I need you right now. Nicholas says thank you, and then shoots himself. He just gives up. And then he takes Glenn down with him. And as that episode played out, I thought Glenn was gone. And that hurt. And that made me sad. And I really was sad that Glenn died. So I say, Nicholas, you are a horrible person. You put me through pain. You also just have never redeemed yourself, really. And then Glenn lived. Oh boy, that was a surprise for me. Glenn, oh boy, let me tell you the story. I watched that episode with my friend, and he explained to me how people thought, hey, Glenn like used his body, like he used Nicholas's body as cover, and then he's got himself under the dumpster. And I'm like, yeah, no way, Glenn's dead. He got chewed up. Did you not see that? And then the next episode, that's exactly what Glenn did. So my friend told me exactly what Glenn did to survive. And I didn't believe it. I'm just like, yeah, no, those people are stupid. And I'm just like, okay, geez. So that was cool. Glenn continues to be one of my favorites. So Glenn lives, and that made me smile, and I was happy. He runs into Enid, who's just being weird. And Enid just always weird. But they work together. And he talks some sense in Eden. He's like, there's people back there you love. That place is not going to go down. You just need to help. And they do so. And they work together, save Maggie. So that was nice. I like that. And then Glenn also got cornered during that incident. And I was very worried to actually get killed there again. And then I'm just like, ooh, yeah, saved his ass. Abraham and Sasha came out of nowhere and killed all the walkers. So that was pretty cool. The Heath moment that I'm going to lump into Glenn instead is that Glenn finally got his first kill, human kill, and then he killed another person, but he didn't make Heath do it. Heath just wasn't strong enough to kill a person, and Glenn really didn't want to do it either, but he's like, I'll do it for you. I'll take the kill because, it's just, if you can't do it, I'm not going to force you. So he did that, and it was really nice of him. So while in there getting that kill, Glenn also spotted a bunch of pictures of the saviors and the people they've killed. I know the people Negan killed, and it's just like nasty, destroyed corpses. And Glenn saw firsthand, eventually, kind of pain that Negan would do. Now, one thing that I don't like is Glenn trying to step up and be the strong man when they're all captured at the end of season 6. Shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have. He's just like, Negan's like, hey, strike one. I understand. Emotions are high. I'll let it slide. Horrible mistake, Glenn. You shouldn't have done that in the first place. And the reason is very simple. Because, well, Daryl did the same thing. He tried to go after Negan, and that didn't end well because Negan smashed Glenn's brain in. Good job, Daryl. You got Glenn killed. Because it would end up biting you in the ass. But I'll say I love Glenn. He's cool. Obviously, I know now he died. Um, and that was normally I've had moments where I'm just like, no! And I think as a particular one, I watch important episodes with my friend because he enjoys the show too, and he's the one that got me into it. And there's a particular moment in season. There's a particular moment, and that was when Glenn died, where I erupted. And it's the same thing when Herschel died. I was pissed. Now, when Glenn died, I kind of half expected it. And I'm dipping into season 7, but oh well. Because I think he'd show me that scene like a few years back, and I'd only like barely remembered who was in it. So I kind of knew Glenn was not about to die, so the pain wasn't as harsh. It was more like silent, pissed off, rather than me shouting out like I did when Glenn first. I initially thought he died, so. But that's something to say for the next tier list because I got to talk about Glenn's death in season 7 because that's where he died. So Denise, this is a freaking monster, freaking almost an hour long. Oh my god. So Denise, Jesus, she was all over the place. I wrote that she needs to man up, and she's not confident in herself to complete her job as a doctor. Eventually, she does actually do her job as a doctor. She does man up. She saves Carl's, because Carl's injured. Oh yeah, I want to point out how Morgan linked the wolf guy all the way back to saving Carl because the wolf guy killed the walkers, saved Denise, and Denise saved Carl after he was shot. Good thinking, Morgan. I did not actually connect that at all. But anyways, back to Denise. The whole first half of the season is her just being sad, just I can't do my job, I can't save him, he's dead, crying like a baby. Eventually she does man up, and I was pretty cool. I liked that. So she does man up, she does her job as a doctor. I like that. Then she goes out on a run with Daryl and Rosita to go get medicine. And I have written for that, Denise is so damn soft. She's literally a doctor. She sees gore all the time. But she can't stomach a decaying walker or a child's foot in a thing. That was stupid. I really didn't like that. She doesn't all right. You as a doctor are doing surgery that you obviously didn't know how to do, but you learn how to do the surgery. You see people blowing up all the time, getting shot and killed, and their limbs injured and bites and stuff, and but you see a decaying walker and that's too much for you? Denise, what the hell is going on in your brain? I think I'd be more scared of someone losing their arm and having to chop it off. If it's been if they got bit in the hand or something, rather than a nasty decaying walker. Let me just tell you right now, the walkers in this show, some of the makeup and effects, absolutely gorgeous. I'll say that. That walker is missing his eyes and he's just in the corner. That was pretty cool. Later in the episode, she nearly dies for a single soda, and then she dies 5 minutes later, anyways. And that was just okay, well, it came out of nowhere. I was oh damn. And I'm just well, that's good. She's dead. Yeah, Denise, I don't like her. It's just, I don't hate her, but she's just weird. And she's a really all over the place character. The most important thing is Denise got Glenn and Abraham killed over a soda. Yeah, here's why. Now, she wanted some sodas. So, Glenn and Rick go out and get the sodas. They do so. And then they run into Jesus. And Jesus explains the issue at Hilltop. So they go to Hilltop. Alright? So, you see where I'm going with this? They go to Hilltop. They take up this job. They kill the saviors, some of them. And then they run into Negan. Because of the saviors they killed. And then Glenn and Abraham die by Negan's hands. So Denise got Glenn and Abraham killed through quite the turn of events and twists and turns in the story. God, wow. That's just really sad to think about. Over a soda. Okay, I'm going to try to speed through the rest of this because we're running out of stuff here. Tara, she doesn't really do a whole lot this season. I don't like that she has a little relationship. Like, damn, she's hot. She's becoming with someone like Rosita, not Denise, but I like her. And yeah. Rosita, I like her. She doesn't really do a whole lot this season again. This chick, hate them. She looks ugly, and she tried to. She just like, let me get this person here smoking with Maggie, being pregnant in the room, and I don't even remember her name. It's like Patricia or something, and God, she's just stupid and got killed. She's just a smug asshole. I hate her. I don't know who this is. I'm just put her in neutral. This guy too, and this guy. I just don't recognize these people. Oh, I remember this guy. I remember him in the woods. He died. Uh, this guy again, don't recognize. So neutral. Deanna's important. Dwight is a complete asshole. He tried to kill Rick. Or no, sorry, tried to kill Rick. I'm like dumbass. Dwight tried to kill Daryl, and then shot him, and took his crossbow, and stole his bike, and everything is just Dwight's an asshole. Maggie. She done some things. Whoever the hell this is, neutral. I don't know who that is. Maggie actually has some stuff written down for her. This stuff, things I have to talk about her for once, besides saying she's cool and she's hot, and that's about it. Maggie needs to stop trying to do shit alone. I believe she's done it in the past. She doesn't want people to tag along with her and help. Just let people help you. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Aaron is just like, hey, I'm willing to help you out. I'm willing to get you, because you got to be safe out there. You need someone to watch your back when you're out there alone. Well, obviously, that was kind of dumb to say. Maggie's trying to go out there, right? And Aaron is like, hey, I gotta help you because you can't go out there alone. You gotta have someone watching your back. Completely understandable. But she's like, no, I don't want you to come with me. And I think she's done this before. I don't remember, but I feel like in the previous season she's done this where she's just like, I'm gonna go out. And then someone's like, you gotta get some help, Maggie. You can't go out there alone. You're gonna get hurt. And she's like, no, I don't want you to get. It really is annoying. She needs to just let people help her. Come on. She dropped a bomb about being pregnant. I mean, that actually shocked me. I really only have that written down because, like, Jesus, that came out of left field. Did shock me. I didn't know she was pregnant until, then. I like that she's kind of being the diplomat for Alexandria. I like that when she's over a hilltop trying to discuss things with Gregory. And then going on a dangerous trip while pregnant and then getting captured and nearly dying. Oh boy, Maggie, what are you doing? She should not have gone on that trip with everyone to the satellite building. Really stupid idea. And then she nearly died, yeah. And then she does get captured. God, that would have been a double kill if Negan killed Maggie. That'd be Jesus. So, I mean, I like her, but she does some questionable things. Morgan has a lot of things here. Morgan's one to discuss a lot, so we're going to save her for the end. Save him for the end. Deanna is somewhere in here. Doesn't know how to kill Walker, but tried damn hard. Yeah, that is one scene where she gets pushed over by a walker in the street, but she starts stabbing the thing in the chest with a broken bottle. She doesn't, just doesn't know that you have to hit it in the head. And it kind of like proves like these people at Alexandria aren't trained. But man, she tried hard and she was covered with blood. I thought it was pretty cool. She accepted that she isn't the leader. Like, she's not the suited leader for the place. Like, Rick is better. She's not the leader the place needs. Rick is. And she kind of hands the torch over to him, and I like that. She wrote some expansion plans for Alexandria, tried to talk with Michonne, and she's like, hey, what do you want, and that whole thing. I liked that. And she pretty much effectively handed the role of leader over to Michonne and Rick before dying. So I liked that. And then she went out like a badass, literally screaming, ah! You can see it in the picture, just yelling at the walkers as she shoots them. It's pretty cool. I like her. Trevor. Trevor's a dick. Alright, so, I mean, this is not actually Trevor. His name is Simon, but he's still played by Stephen Ogg. And every line and his general character, it feels like Trevor still. So, I like him just for the fact that, well, he's a dick, but he's a likable dick. And he's just like, he's gonna be the last day on Earth. Or something like that. I don't know. Daryl, what do you do? Daryl being Daryl, but once again, changing his mind and helping others. So, Daryl, yeah, I don't remember which episode it was, but again, he's being Daryl. He's being a badass. But he changes his mind, and he does this a couple times, I think, throughout the show, where he changes his mind to help people that he wanted to kill initially, He's just like, he either beats him over the head or ties him up. But then he trusts them, and he's just like, I'm gonna help you out. People that tried to kill him. And that's exactly what he did. He's like, to Dwight particularly, he ties him up, and he's like, why'd you try and kill me, and all this stuff. And he's like, you know what? I see. I'm gonna help you out. He tries to actually recruit them too for that, and then he gets fucked over because they steal his bike at gunpoint. Daryl shouldn't do that. He's too nice. He's like Glenn, pretty much. Um, and I think that's something he needs to realize. Like he needs to stop trusting people. He needs to stop being nice. Uh, because every person he does it to seems to just turn on him. So not okay. Fucking blew everyone up with a rocket. That's a big one in all caps, and also lit the whole lake on fire with that rocket too. So yeah, overall, still love Daryl. He's still cool. Kind of skimmed through him pretty quick. Not really a whole lot I had to write down for him because he's just Daryl. He's cool. You know, he's fucking blows everyone up. I think I'm gonna save. I know who the last two I'm gonna save for last. Carol. Oh boy, Carol kind of getting a little all over the place. She's been in love like the last 3 seasons or something, I think, but she's starting to get a little skimmy here. So she goes on an absolute rampage, killing everybody, using people as disguises. Using like a disguise to trick the wolf people. It was really cool. So she goes on a massacre when the wolf people come in to Alexandria. She confronts Morgan about the wolf guy. I liked that little confrontation where she's like, I'll kill you. And he's like, no, you're not going to do that. And then he's like, I'm going to kill you, Morgan. No. And then they have a little beef over that. I like that. Carol's keeping count of how many people she kills. She wants to be a housewife again, not a killer. She's tried to avoid killing people. Problem is, it's not gonna work. She always ends up killing people anyways, and she's just like, yeah, I think Carol needs to realize this world, killing is necessary now. Like, you know, you don't need to kill anybody in current planet. At least, you know, not good people. But even good people sometimes need to die in the world of Walking Dead, and she just needs to realize that. She kind of does this thing. I get really confused where she acts up and like starts hyperventilating and acting sad in front of the saviors. Uh, they don't really. She's like, I can't tell if this is a ploy to like confuse them and not to let them know how dangerous Carol really is. Because she ends up lighting 4 dudes on fire or something and just burns them to a crisp. Like, come on, why would you want people to know that you're that strong? Like, they friggin' shoot you on the spot. But the way she puts it out, and she does it again in like episode 15 or something, where I'm confused because I can't tell if she's being legit and she's actually sick and tired of killing. I mean, obviously she is, but I can't tell if like it's affecting her mentally or she's just putting on an act to distract people and play them off. Like I don't know. She's confusing me. I can't tell if she's really broken because of all the killing, or if she's just acting up. She seems to try to follow Morgan's ways, but that's not going to work in this world. She just keeps killing everyone anyways. Carol shouldn't have run off. And I don't know, like, I'm just not a fan of the way she's going about this whole thing. I get it, she doesn't want to kill. And she's like, I'm afraid. And he's like, what are you afraid of? And he's like, he never answers. Well, she's afraid of killing people. She doesn't want to do it anymore, but she just keeps doing it. She goes and blows a whole car up of people pretty much. Just shoots them all and stabs them. It's just, Carol, it's not going to work out for you. So she needs to, I'm going to put her in like. I don't really love her in this season. She's kind of all over the place and confusing. Good God, we're nearly at an hour. This is going to be a monster file size. Morgan. All right, we need to like skim through this stuff fast because I'm getting to the point where it's just like, God, I don't want this video to be massive. It already is. Morgan's nonviolent ways aren't going to work in this world, but his over-aggressive slaughter of everyone is too much. Oh boy, okay, so when you first introduced to Morgan, so when you're getting the backstory of Morgan and you're first introduced him at the beginning of the episode, he's going on an absolute slaughter, killing innocent people, just left and right, slaughtering walkers, clearing everything, just clear. It's a bit too much. Like, he's literally slaughtering everyone. That's not okay. That's not gonna work in this world. Come on, man. The man's gone completely bananas. But also his pacifist ways also aren't gonna work, and I don't like that because I like Morgan. But every time he needs to kill someone, he just doesn't do it. So it's just ridiculous. I don't think his nonviolent ways aren't gonna work. And he's unsure that his new way if it's gonna work or not. And so he knows. Hey, my things aren't, my style, the way I take on the world is not going to work 100%, but he still does it anyways. I don't like it. Morgan wanting to speak to clearly violent people, like to listen and compromise. Oh, yeah, when he's like, hey, we should talk it out. instead with these savior people, despite the fact that they're willing to kill for literally over nothing. And I'm sure Morgan, when everyone gets back to Alexandria, Morgan's gonna hear that, and he's gonna be like, "Well, maybe we can't really talk to them, because I want you to try talking to Negan. Try and reason with that guy." Yeah. Morgan made a cell like Eastman, hoping it will give choices to Rick. But let's be real, there's only one solution for violence, and that's more violence. Eventually, he realized that, and he finally killed a guy, and that's that picture right there where Morgan is raising that gun, and he shoots that dude to save Carol. So I'm gonna put Morgan in like, because his ideas keep clashing with everybody. It keeps clashing with himself, and I just don't think he needs to give up this whole thing. Like, he can't go in with every person and be pacifist about him. It's just not gonna work. But what he can do is choose select people that he knows could change and kill the others that are just terrible. I think there is a way out of it for Morgan, and he can earn himself back in love tier, but for now, all right, Negan, oh boy, he shows up for about half an hour in the last episode, and he solidifies himself as a grade A bastard, okay? Obviously, I'm going to lump in Season 7, because he does kill two major characters like a dick. And he does... God, oh, this is a governor situation, all right? Is the exact same thing where he's such a dick. I love him. I'm just gonna put him right in love for now already. Where he's a character, you love him because he's so hateable. Just like the first thing he shows up, he's just a, he's making jokes, and he's cracking jokes, and he's laughing about it while he's just got people tied up with guns to their heads basically, and he's just, come on, like, you are such a dick, man. Yeah. So he doesn't really get to the bad part until Season 7, where he's like, okay, everyone here, you're going to listen to me, okay? You work for me, period. There's no other option. You want to work for me, okay? So, yeah. Jesus. All right. Gets worse, because then he kills Glenn and Abraham. And then God, this part actually kind of, like, solidified this guy as a grade A villain, all right? So he is like, he's got Carl on the ground, and he's got Rick, and Rick's got his hatchet, and he's like, Rick, chop your son's arm off, or I'm going to shoot him in the head if you don't do it. It's like, wow, Jesus Christ, man. And here I am, and Rick's just about to do it, and I think it's actually going to go through. So, like, at the beginning of that scene, I'm just like, no way Rick's going to go through with this. So I'm thinking Carl is going to freaking get hurt here. And then Rick picks up the axe. I'm like, is Carl going to lose his arm? Like, oh my God. And then Negan's like, okay, I'm not that sadistic. I just need you to tell me you'll work for me. He's like, okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to hear. I own you. Wow. Jesus Christ. This guy, I don't know if he's worse than the governor. The governor did, like, slaughter a bunch of innocent people. But, Jesus Christ, Negan's a dick. So, yeah, he's already a character. I like him a lot, but I also hate him a lot. Finally, after a friggin' hour, we've come to Rick, the main man himself. Oh my God. I only have, like, a handful of things. He is the leader everyone needs, and I like that he made plans that nearly work. Particularly trying to get all the walkers and lead them out of the quarry, way, way away from Alexandria. And you know what? It would have worked had the wolves not come in and blown everything up, okay? Like, he made a really damn good plan. I like that. And he is the leader that Alexandria needs, because he can get stuff like that to actually work. No one in Alexandria would have thought that, so I feel bad that no one put trust into him, because it would have worked out fine without the wolves attacking, yeah. Rick going absolute ape shit after Carl gets shot. I love that. When he runs out of the building and he's just slaughtering everyone with an axe. And then, alright, let me just say, Season 6, Episode 9, not because of the number, haha, but because the nature of the episode and everything that happens, and it is my favorite episode of the show so far. And I just love how he goes completely, like, he goes back to Season 3 Rick after Lori dies, where he's just slicing everyone up with a hatchet, whacking walkers over the head, beating her teeth in, and then everyone joins in at the last minute to just start taking down all the walkers. I love that. It's just incredible. Rick pretty much started that whole movement. Bravo, Rick. I loved it. You are the leader, man. And then, while it's not written down, I will say he, he's kind of in a tough situation for season. I'm gonna dive into season 7 just a minute because all the Negan stuff doesn't really happen at the end of the season 6. But the way he's just, I'm gonna give this more to Andrew Lincoln than Rick himself. Just the acting when Negan is trying to get him to chop Carl's arm off. The way he's just frantically shaking and he's just like so broken mentally. I love that. Some good work from the actor. All right, I'll say I love Rick. I don't know. He did pretty good this season. There's nothing in here that I particularly disliked at all about him that I remember. I'd say he's a pretty good Rick this season. I like him. I treat each Rick from different seasons like they're different people. Like this version of Rick is good. Yet holy hell, Jesus Christ, what a tier list. Oh, over an hour. I got sleepy. All right. So yeah, that is my season 6 Walking Dead tier list. Man, that took forever. I'm gonna cut out a lot of stuff there, I feel, just because I don't want this to be so long. And as far as I know, by season 7 and 8, there's even more characters. Oh Christ! I feel like I've actually made these longer by writing things down. I think the tier lists are better when I was just like, uh, this character did this. I think, you know. Well, yeah, there you go. So as for every list now on, I'm going to rank where I put the season. And I'm going to say I like this season. I liked it a lot. I would say I'm going to put it number 3 above season 2, but below season 4, assuming that's where they were on the list. I don't entirely remember. I should go back and watch the other video for that. But yeah, I'd say I like this season a lot. Overall, you're introduced, you get this build up to this bastard of a villain. The early, I've loved this balance this season has. It has two clear villains. The beginning of the season, the clear villains are the walkers, as The Walking Dead is about walkers. And they are the trouble. Of course, the wolves are in there too. You can kind of lump them in because they did cause a lot of trouble for Alexandria. But, the way the season starts out, and I want to point out, I love the Ascension aesthetic. My friend mentioned this to me, how the flashback scenes in the first episode are black and white, like in Ascension. We don't have the power on. That's funny. The season starts out where the walkers are the primary enemy. They got to get them out of that core. They need to take them far away. But eventually they come in and they breach Alexandria. And about halfway through the season, it changes. I love that. The first half of the season, walkers. The second half, the saviors, and eventually Negan, right at the end, where he is going to, I assume, set up the rest of the friggin' seasons for the next few seasons. So, I love that. They have clear-cut villains, unlike Season 5. They have clear-cut objectives, unlike Season 5. That's a good thing. And I think having, the pacing where you have The Walking Dead being, The Walking Dead, where you're fighting walkers, and then you have the human side of the conflict. So you have the walker conflict, you have the human conflict, and I think that mashed very well together. Now, there were not a lot, but there were a couple slow episodes in the season I think kind of could have done away with. Like episode 15 was kind of crap. I don't remember even. I didn't like that one. But, there are a couple episodes in here I think that you could have done away with. The reason why I love Season 3 so much is a lot of conflict, and there's a lot of action, and throughout the whole season you have your villain. And I think, I don't know, I just like that. I would say Season 6 a lot more action. Hell, I might even say I like this more than Season 4? You know what? I'm going to say so. I'm going to say I like this more than Season 4. Hell, this will be my second favorite season of the show. I think that's safe to say because there's a lot of action. There's a lot of good development for characters. There is, there's a good villain. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, you know what? Screw that. Season 6, I liked it a lot. There you go. Second favorite season of the show. Everything here is like Season 3, just a little less. Because Season 3 didn't have... honestly, I don't recall any episodes being like... they were all really good. This one, there's a couple where they're pretty... Yeah, I could do without them. This could be like a 13-episode season, I'm sure. But overall, good season. I really liked it. And as far as what I've heard, season 5 is the most popular. Season 6 is, yeah, people say this is where the show starts to go downhill. I don't agree. I think the show's still going quite strong. I think season 5 is actually a low point, personally. But it's going into season 7, going into season 8. Apparently, those are stinkers for the most part. So I'll find out how that goes. But yeah, there is my season 6 tier list for my characters, where I put the season, where I rank it. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in like a month for season 7, or maybe even 2 weeks if I really decide to hammer out that season, which I don't think I'm gonna do because I don't want to take in too much too quickly and start losing, thought about stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in season 7. Goodbye.